What were the events of the Buddha's death and Parinirvana? Hi, I'm Dr. James Holt, and when he was 80, the Buddha announced that he would soon achieve Parinirvana, or final and complete Nirvana, at the passing away of a Buddha. Interestingly, he spoke of there being no need of a successor to his disciple Ananda. He said, "So Ananda, you should all live with yourselves as your island, yourselves as your refuge, with no other as your refuge, with the Dharma as your island, the Dharma as your refuge, with no other as your refuge." And how does a monk live with himself as his island, himself as his refuge, with no other as his refuge? With the Dharma as his island, the Dharma as his refuge, with no other as his refuge. Soon after this, the Buddha ate his last meal, provided by Kunda the blacksmith. He soon became rather ill, though he was at pains to reassure Kunda that it had nothing to do with the meal that he'd provided. What was in the meal is an area of debate. For example, Theravadas believe that it may have been some kind of pork, while Mahayanans believe it was a mushroom. In Mahayana belief, the Buddha was not really ill, but was merely presenting an ill countenance to teach people about the suffering and impermanence of this life. Before he died, the Buddha asked his companions to ask any questions they had. They had none. At this point, he died and entered Parinirvana. His final words were, "Now then, monks, I exhort you, all fabrications are subject to ending and decay. Reach consummation through heedfulness." Buddhists believe that he did not die in the normal sense of the word, but achieved nirvana, which is deathless. He died lying on his right side with his right hand under his head, and some rupas of the Buddha can be seen in this position. The death was the final teaching on impermanence. The Buddha was cremated, and elements of his body, including teeth and bones, didn't burn and were placed in 8 stupas, which have since become places of pilgrimage for Buddhists. The stupas' locations include Sri Dalada Maligawa, or the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic in Kandy in Sri Lanka. There's also Sarnath and Sanchi, and whether these stupas were of the original 8 is a matter of debate, but they are places of pilgrimage with relics associated with the Buddha.